This tutorial is for first grade, Module 2, Lesson 4. In this lesson, we're going to use pictures and number bonds to help us make 10 when we're adding two numbers. The first problem says Tom has 9 red pencils and 5 yellow. How many pencils does Tom have in all? If we start with our picture, the first group is showing the 9 pencils that are red and then the 5 pencils that are yellow. What we did next was we circled a group of 10. Since we have 9 red pencils, I knew that I only needed one more pencil from the yellow group to give me that group of 10, so I circled that group all together. In my number bond, I'm going to show what I did to this group of 5. I broke that group into 1, that's the pencil that I used to make my group of 10, and then 4 more. That means that when I split my 5 into 1 and 4, I can combine the 9 and the 1 to make the 10. That's what I did in this picture. Now, instead of adding 9 plus 5, I'm going to add 10 pencils plus 4 pencils, and that gives me a total of 14 pencils. That also means then that 9 plus 5 is 14. So I made my group of 10. I showed how I split up my number in my number bond, and that shows how 10 plus 4 gets me to 14, and that's the same thing as 9 plus 5. Let's look at some more examples. In this next problem, I have 9 plus 3. You can see the 9 discs below and the 3 discs. I need to first show a group of 10. Since I have my 9 discs, I know I need just one more disc from that group to give me my 10. So let's see what I did to these 3 discs. I broke it into 2 groups. I broke it into a group showing 1 disc and then a group showing 2 discs. So 3 is the same thing as 1 and 2. That allowed me to make my 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. Now I just have to add the extra 2 discs. 10 plus 2 is 12. So that tells me that 9 plus 3 is the same thing as 10 plus 2, and they both equal 12. In the next problem, I'm adding 4 plus 9. So I have my 9 here. I need one more to make 10. So I'm going to take 1 from the 4 group, and let's show what we've done to that 4. Here I have a group of 3 and a 1. So I broke my group of 4 into 3 and 1, and I used that 1 to make my 10. So 10 plus the 3 that were left gives me 13. 10 plus 3 is the same thing as 4 plus 9, and they both equal 13. In the next section, I'm going to continue making groups of 10, but I'm going to show my steps on the 10 frame. So I'm going to add 9 plus 5. Let's start by showing our 9 discs on the first frame and our 5 discs on the second frame. Now I need to fill up my 10 frame, and I need one more disc here. So I'm going to get that disc from the 5 group. So let's circle that. I'm going to make my 10 using one disc from that 5 group. So what I've done with my 5 discs then is I broke it into 1 disc and 4 discs. So we'll show that in the number bond. I broke the 5 into 1 and 4. That allowed me to make my 10, and now I just have to add in the extra 4. 10 plus 4 is 14. 9 plus 5 is the same thing as 10 plus 4, and they both equal 14. Moving on to the next problem, I have 9 plus 6. So we'll show our 9 discs in the first frame and our 6 discs in the second frame. Now I'm going to use some of those discs from my second frame to make my 10 with my first frame. So I'll go ahead and circle. I need one of those discs to give me a total of 10. So let's see what we did to the 6 here. We took 1 disc and that left 5 more discs. So I'm going to break my 6 into 1 and 5. That means I can make my 10 using the 9 and the 1, and then I just have to add the extra 5 discs. 10 plus 5 is 15. That means that 9 plus 6 is the same thing as 10 plus 5, and they both equal 15. And we have one more problem. This time we're adding 9 plus 8. So we'll start with the 9 in the first 10 frame, and then I'll draw my 8 discs in the second 10 frame. And let's see, now I need to fill up this first frame to make 10, so I'm going to take one disc from the 10 frame that had the 8, and I'll show that grouping. So I took one disc and combined it with the 9 to give me my 10. Let's show what we did to that group of 8. We separated it into one disc here and then a group of 7 discs that were left over. That allowed me to combine my 9 and my 1 to make my 10 frame, and I have the 7 discs left over. 10 plus 7 is 17, and that tells us that 9 plus 8 is the same thing as 10 plus 7, and they both equal 17.